Okay, so I'm back with another live. I actually moved from where I was sitting. Um, anyway, hi, how are you all? How are you? Hope you're doing well. And this video, if you're watching the replay, this video is catching you well. You're fine, you're amazing. So I came live to speak about something in particular that for me Spirit has been highlighting in my life more especially, which is trusting the process and letting go of the need to control. So I've had quite a bit of, I actually have examples of this that I've gone through currently. This is like my biggest thing that I'm working on, biggest thing that I feel I'm allowing myself to get a taste of on a deeper level. Letting go of control, letting go of needing to know everything and figure out everything, and trusting God, trusting Source, trusting Spirit, trusting my intuition, trusting myself, having faith as I'm becoming the version of myself that is manifesting bigger things that feel like the next level for me. And I wanted to come live because I feel there's some juicy things that I want to speak on that may help you. So the first thing, which is actually part of the title, trust the process. I think for a lot of us, when we're doing anything, whether we're in business, whether we're in career, whether we're in relationships, when we're moving and we're adapting and we're shifting into newer levels, there's the hint of overthinking, trying to get all the answers. And I know this for myself to be true. Whenever I move to a new level, whenever I move to something that's unknown, I find myself needing to know all the details, needing to know all the answers before I move. And over the past 4 years, I call it an initiation, some others call it a spiritual awakening, in my initiation to becoming more and more of my soul self, more and more of a sovereign human being, more and more intuitive, more and more in my body, I find trusting the process, trusting God, trusting Spirit, trusting Source, and surrendering, that's one of the most important ingredients. Because when we hear a lot in the spiritual space about manifestation is a co-creation. It's a co-creation, yes. And there's various kinds of ways one can manifest, and there's various kinds of ways, we feel comfortable manifesting. And I do think there's a softer, a more smoother way, a more simpler way that oftentimes feels the hardest, which is surrendering, letting go, submitting yourself to the flow of life, to actually noticing what other things are showing up. Something that I was thinking of quite a few hours ago actually was, and this is a conversation I had with my friend. I thought about it, and then she said something, and it just further confirmed this point, where there's different seasons of manifestation. There's different phases, right? We always get stuck in needing to wish for something, needing to be in the desire of something. And it's like the seasons. Nature is a good example of this. We have the summer, we have autumn or fall, depending on where you are and what you call it. Then we have winter and spring. There's no place in the world where it's just summer. Yes, it may be hot in some places and stay hot if you're near the equator, but it's not summer all year round. It probably is, but there's little hints that show that seasons are changing. internally within ourselves, we also go through seasons. And this is a fundamental part of living a more feminine way. I don't really like to speak about it through like masculine feminine, but I feel in this conversation it's important, right? When we want to live more in harmony with nature, more in harmony with life, more in harmony with God, and move in a way that feels like we're flowing, we need to start understanding and becoming one with seasons, becoming one with cycles. There are some cycles that overlap and some seasons that overlap, definitely. And there are times where even as we're experiencing the actual seasons outside, then we find our bodies wanting to naturally sync up, link up to those seasons. That's for the purpose of allowing ourselves to be more in sync with life, to feel more connected with nature. And generally, in essence, we are one with nature. We are one with my Mother Gaia. We are one with Earth. And when we live with cycles and when we trust the process of things are always moving, even if it looks like it's winter, there's things happening in winter. Right now, I'm in the Southern Hemisphere, so it's winter for me. Beginning of winter, but leaves are starting to fall, starting to get a little colder, finding myself needing and wanting to get warm, have nourishing foods. Outside, interestingly, there's still green trees. But let's say we move into like what we typically think of as winter, depending on where you live. Doesn't snow where I live, but if for you it snows where you live, right? Everything seems empty, clean, barren. That is a whole cycle where there's not a lot going on the outside, but there's a lot happening internally. When we think of trees and we think of the whole evolution and the whole growth of trees, trees start growing from the root all the way up through its trunk, its stem, and then into its branches and eventually leaves, right? So you cannot expect the fruit when the roots haven't expanded and grown. And I think this is very much true for us. When we're manifesting, we're expanding our container. We're expanding the roots, right? We're expanding the way we see things, the way we feel things. And that requires a lot of energy. And yes, it may mean there are times where you need to, prioritize what you're doing so that you have more energy to have this momentum, build up this momentum, so that when spring comes, then you can start seeing the mini hints, taste of the nutrients, of the minerals that your tree has harvested, like captivated and gotten. That's when you start seeing signs that your manifestation is starting to come about, is starting to become into fruition, right? Instead of jumping from spring all the way to summer, there's little hints of like, okay, things are working, Again, trusting the process. Nature shows us the process of manifestation. Some manifestations can happen real fast, yes. And there's some that take a while because it's not much like the tree. Trees don't just start off as trees. They start off as like little plants and they become little shrubs and then they grow bigger and bigger. And I think the same is true when we're manifesting things, when we're trying to go to a next level. There's a part of us that needs to shift. Our personality, our identity, it needs to match up with the whole, when we think of the tree that we're trying to create, that we're trying to hold space for, it needs to link up. The energy needs to match. And so when you're trying to control the process, there's things that you're not able to allow to show up. And this brings me back to actually what I wanted to talk about. For me, I noticed that during these 6 months, I had been in now I'm really solidifying my roots, I'm expanding, I'm growing. And there were times where I needed to let go of things that were comfortable, and that it was scary. And I'm sure if you're watching this, you can understand, like, there are times where there's certain things we don't want to let go of, but those things are very much necessary. Sorry, that's my dog. Those things are very much necessary to opening up to bigger things. And not just that, when we see something vanishing, much like the tree, if we're bringing it back to the example of a tree doesn't hold on and grip to those leaves that have already dried up and are decaying. It lets go of those leaves so that new leaves can come about, so that if it's a fruit bearing tree, new fruits can come about. There's no tree that holds on to fruits for a really long time. At that point, you're holding on to things that at some point rot. And we don't want that. We're always evolving, we're always growing. There's always going to be things that God asks us to do. There's always seasons that we're going to move into. And those seasons, some of them are really clear. Like, you have a good idea of what it's about. And then there's others where it's unknown and you just feel like you're walking blindfolded. You're walking blindfolded. It feels dark, and you're relying on God to, like, show you the way. You're relying on your intuition to show you the way. This is what it means to trust the process and let go of control. When we're trying to control things, we're holding on to way more things that our body doesn't want. Energetically, we don't want. We're hindering the next phase that is wanting to come in so that we can move on. And I really felt this for myself last Thursday morning, early hours, like midnight Thursday, where I didn't realize how much I was holding on to the past, the future, the present. Like, I was holding on to a lot. There was a lot of tension and tightness in my body. There was a lot of pressure. And I kept hearing, like, let go, let go, let go. And I kept seeing the different ways that I was holding on to things. And interesting thing is, as I did inner work, as I went internally and I asked myself questions of, like, why am I holding on to this thing? Because there were things that were being shown in my reality that, hey, okay, wait, this is showing up. I don't know if I like this and what's going on. Doing the inner work to see what was happening internally that desired to be released again. Things that can clear up so that I can further expand my roots at the bottom. That all came through me being able to let go of trying to figure everything out, trying to let go of have this logical way of getting to my next destination, the next checkpoint, milestone. And quite honestly, this is something that I keep finding myself going back and forth with spirit. Like, I'm always feeling like I'm initiated into something. And these initiations, some of them are small, some of them are big. But it's always coming back to magic, the magic of things. There's things that happen that I can't explain. There's probably things in your life that happen that you can't explain. Like, you just feel like it all got perfectly orchestrated and you have no fucking clue, no real idea of how it came into a puzzle piece, a perfect puzzle piece. But that's just the magic of the divine. That's just the magic of the divine mother, divine father, however you call it. Like, that's the magic of playing in the realm of spirit, playing in the realm of God. Those are things that those are the things that allow you to breathe a lot lighter and not feel heavy. Like, you're not breathing with the tense body. You're able to breathe more freely. You're able to be in the present moment. You're able to fully be in the experience as things are shifting, as things are slowly lining up, where there's new things that you're manifesting. Like, this new, for me, it's a new level of my business and the way I show up in my business. There's things that I would have never truly understood, truly gotten, if I try to control the situation. There was a lot of surrendering on my part. There was a lot of letting go, taking a step back so I can see the ways God wants to orchestrate this plan, orchestrate the destination, almost like God being your travel guide and showing you the way instead of you trying to show God the way. This is where and why they say the how is not important. It's for this exact reason. There's things you don't know. And I know I don't know a lot of things. I know for sure there's a lot of things I don't know. And when I try and think I know things, and when I try and figure out how to know things, I'm losing the magic of the experience of getting there. There's things in the current moment that if I'm so focused on this next level, if I'm so focused on getting this manifestation, I'm losing the potency, the magic, the flavor of the sweet nectar of life at this current moment. There's a lot of things that are happening right now that I can be grateful for, that I can melt into, that I can soften into, that I can just become more joyful with, be more at peace with, accept more of. Something that I was thinking about before this live, this is one of the things I also wanted to share, is it's like going to a restaurant, right? When we're eating out at a restaurant, yes, we're there to get food, but we're also there to have the whole entire experience of being at a restaurant. We get into the restaurant, we have our table, set up and everything. We're sitting and we order drinks, or we have starters, or maybe this bread that comes on the table, depending what kind of restaurant you're at. But then you're gonna order the food you want. Maybe there's a main dish that you're looking forward to, and let's say for the sake of this example, that's what your manifestation is. It's this main dish from this restaurant that you're like, I am looking forward to this. Like, this is the thing I want. And you send it, you tell the waiter or waitress, and they send it to the kitchen and it's going to be made, right? Now, your experience will depend on how much you're worrying and how much you're trying to control the time. In this case, how long it takes for this main dish to come to the table so you can eat. Versus if you're sitting with someone, you're able to have a profound conversation, or maybe you're able to have a pleasant conversation. You're able to just get the whole ambience and the whole feel of the restaurant. If you're sitting alone, you're looking at everyone. You're seeing how everyone is interacting. Maybe there's someone that's your friend or your partner, future partner, that's sitting at another table that you could have been having a conversation with. But because you were up here in your head worrying about this main dish that was being created in the kitchen, this is God, this is universe, right? If you're so worried about that, you're missing out on the pleasant experience you could be having at this restaurant. Maybe there's a song that you love that's playing and you're finding yourself dancing, moving to the beat, and just like enjoying yourself, enjoying life, actually feeling free, actually allowing yourself to relax and just be one with the atmosphere, one with the environment. In the case of this being a restaurant, you're able to enjoy your drink. You're able to, if maybe there's a starter that you're wanting, you're able to enjoy the starter, which can prepare you for the main dish. Like this, and then there's also the thing of, depending on where the kitchen is, maybe you're able to start smelling food that's being made. Those are like pleasant experiences that you get when you're in the moment, when you're present, when you're trusting the process that your food is being made, when you're letting go of the need to control what time your food is going to get there. You're wondering if it's going to taste good. You're just like wondering and overthinking and trying to get all these things happening. There's so much magic when you just trust and let go. Because you're missing out on life. If we're bringing it back to manifesting a lot of things, reaching our next level, when we're so focused on that next level, that next destination, that next milestone, there's so much of the present moment that you are not allowing yourself to truly experience. There's a lot of things that eventually, once you have it, you're going to be like, I wish I actually spent time, I don't know, with your friends, with your children. You spend more time with your partner. You spend more time with your pets. You spend more time with doing the things you wanted to do, right? Sometimes life offers us an opportunity to rest so that we can nourish ourselves, so that when we get to that next destination, that next milestone, that next era, we become more wholly, fully full as a person. Our cup is full. We're not now going there feeling really, really disappointed, unsatisfied, feeling like we didn't actually get what we wanted, right? Think, going back to the restaurant, when you get your meal, what if that meal tastes great, but what makes the whole experience is being in the restaurant, being surrounded by different people, listening to the music, talking to people if you have people around you. That's the thing that's going to make you remember, like, wow, that was an amazing time that I had. We should go there again. It wasn't the food that you were there for. It was the whole experience plus the food, not just the food. Same thing with manifestation. It's not just the manifestation. It's the experience leading to the manifestation. If your experience leading to the manifestation is, oh my gosh, I'm worried, I'm stressed, I need to control this, we're going to regret that experience. We're going to dread trying to go and experience another level. And this is why I really feel it's important to, as a person, know what you value, know who you are, know what you're about, understand what are the things you prioritize in your life and you love to keep in your life. Because career, business, all those things are important and they make up who we are, and it's a form of self-expression, and it's the form in which we contribute to society. But those aren't the only things that make us us. I know for myself, when I was at school, I made that my whole entire life and I missed out on so much that now I'm not really catching up on, but catching up on. And even as I'm running this business, I've learned the lesson of, yes, I've got this business, and yes, I'm helping people, and yes, this is an amazing thing I'm doing, but there's also life to be lived and life to be enjoyed. And when I'm doing it in a way that's really aligned to me, when I'm doing it in a way that feels good to me, in a way that I can actually relax and allow for the magic of everything to unfold, to be able to play, to be able to, just be in the whole existence of life. That's the thing that makes a lot of my business work. This is where a lot of people get inspiration out of nowhere. when you're just living life and experiencing life, and there's this wild idea that just pops up out of nowhere, right? You become more creative when you're just living and being in the moment. You're no longer up in your head. You're no longer needing to control life. You're no longer needing to control how things are moving in your household, in your team, and there's especially control that is hindering other people from doing their magic, and also control that's draining you. I don't want you to feel drained. I don't want you to feel like I need to hold on to everything. I need to tightly grasp everything and need to make sure everything is working out just the way I want it to work out. You're not allowing for more magic, more beauty, more flow, more creativity, more innovation and freshness to come in organically through being tight, And so this is me. I'm gonna end here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're watching the replay, and yes, I will see you the next time I go live. Bye.